right, and welcome back to another segment of Burnt Coverage. I'm your host, Joel.
And I'm Curtis.
And this segment we're going to cover tight ends.
Yes, we are.
I guessed right.
Yeah, good job. It's about that time.
Yeah.
The inebriation is really setting in now.
It's not true.
It's set in later or earlier.
Stone cold sober.
Let's see. I'll go ahead.
Please do.
I'm just gonna not do any research and just hit the repeat button and go Owen Daniels again. Worked last week, it'll work again. Owen Daniels last week, touchdown. Week before, touchdown. This week, touchdown. Playing the Oakland Raiders, who, if you've been following anything in fantasy as far as tight ends go, you'll know Oakland Raiders are the worst team against the tight end. And it hasn't been all good tight ends that they played against either. I'm looking at you, Gary Barnidge. But last week they got scorched by Martellus Bennett, who's a pretty damn good tight end. This week, Owen Daniels, who's had success in the past and is having current success with Peyton Manning's rejuvenated offense, since he is the offensive head coach of said Denver Broncos.
Not breaking news.
We're going to see Owen Daniels a lot this week, I think. Probably closer to the goal line, of course, but he has become sort of the outlet target for Peyton. If Ronnie Hillman's in, he's usually blocking Peyton. That means that the shortest receiver, or the shortest route receiver on the field is usually his tight end, Owen Daniels. Owen Daniels has completely eclipsed Virgil Green in Virgil Green in
better than a green virgin.
Yeah, Virgil Green sucks, as I was saying. Owen Daniels is a very good pick, and really because of his price, $2,700 in DraftKings. 4,900 FanDuel. FanDuel's actually picked up on it. DraftKings, once again, behind the curve. I see Owen Daniels as a really high floor guy this week.
I mean, yeah, Owen Daniels he's in a Gary Kubiak offense. Gary Kubiak has played with Owen Daniels before and loves, and they work very well together. And now that Peyton Manning is starting to really gain some confidence and rapport with him, yeah, I have no problem with that call. Oakland is god-awful against the tight end for some reason. I don't know. You would figure after a month you could fix it, but apparently not. So, yeah, dirt cheap. Dirt cheap.
Yeah, the only problem I think that anybody would see is if Denver runs away. We've talked about this in a different segment. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I still think they're going to have to throw a little bit. But yeah, for a cheap price, it's not a bad.
Yeah, but even if it is the blowaway that I think it is, like they'll still, even if they're up 3 touchdowns, they're still gonna have to. Peyton will still throw it just to keep defenses honest.
Yeah.
And I think they won't go deep to Demarius. They'll go short to Owen. Yeah. So I'm gonna go a little more expensive, and that's usually my co-host pick for a tight end. I'm going to Delanie Walker, Tennessee Titans, going against the Buffalo Bills this week. So he missed 1 week with a wrist injury. That was week 2. But his receptions have increased each week. And he is actually tied with Kendall Wright for the team lead in receptions. And Marcus Mariota, who I'm on record with for saying is my choice for Rookie of the Year. I think he's obviously developing a strong bond with his tight end, and now he gets the Bills, who've allowed the 3rd most receptions and the 7th most fantasy points to tight ends. And he's not quite as cheap as Owen Daniels. He's a little more expensive, but he's right up there. He's going for $5,400 on FanDuel and $3,800 on DraftKings. I think he has a little higher ceiling than Owen Daniels, just because I think that there's some points scored in this game. I think it's very close to fair. And rookie quarterbacks, safety blankets, tight ends. There you go.
Yeah. What can you argue about that?
Usually against me, nothing.
Do you have any fear that the defense is going to cue in on him at all?
No, because I think it's Kendall Wright, and I don't I don't have as much confidence in Buffalo's pass defense as I do their run defense. And Tennessee's run defense, I have no confidence in. I have never mentioned any of them in any episode of the show, and I probably won't for the rest of the season. So it's a passing game for Tennessee, and yeah, I mean it's Kendall Wright, and it is Delaney Walker. That's it.
And Delaney Walker, he did play before the bye with some injuries, and now he's had a week off. So
so now he's fully healthy.
And in that week, I will note, in the week that Delaney Walker was gone, Anthony Posada, the backup tight end, had a big game. So obviously the tight end's a huge
Marcus
target.
Mariota likes his tight ends.
Yeah, don't we all?
Can't go a week.
I gotta get one tight end joke a week. Let's see. Tight ends. Oh, all right. So another low-end tight end that I like is Richard Rodgers. Richard Rodgers wasn't really on the radar for a lot of people at the beginning of the year because the Green Bay also had Andrew Corliss playing, but now Andrew Corliss is pretty much out for the year. He's IR designated to return, but that leaves Richard Rodgers as the only pass-catching tight end in Green Bay, and he's been productive. He has 2 touchdowns. He had his best game last week. Now, granted, he's not going to light the world on fire. 50 and a touch is probably his ceiling, but his floor is probably 40 and no touch. He's getting the looks. He's getting the targets. He's 2,900 in DraftKings, 5,100 in FanDuel. For the record, I'd still rather go Owen Daniels just because of the matchup, but I could see a situation where the St. Louis line, who's been fantastic so far this year, starts putting a little pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and he has to dump it off more than he usually would. As Richard Rodgers' targets have increased, I see that Aaron Rodgers will have more of a camaraderie with him, even more targets. Unfortunately for a lot of fantasy owners, Eddie Lacy's been fairly ineffective so far. And Richard Rodgers has been a more reliable red zone option for Aaron Rodgers. So I really like Richard Rodgers this week against the Rams.
Correct me if I'm mistaken, but that is 2 weeks in a row that you're calling for Richard Rodgers.
No, 2 weeks in a row I've done Owen Daniels.
No, you did Richard Rodgers last week as well.
Did I do Owen Daniels and Richard Rodgers last week?
Well,
Because then I did really well.
You did Richard Rodgers in your throw it up against the wall and see what sticks segment.
Okay, well then that worked too.
But I don't know. I don't like Richard Rodgers. I don't think Aaron Rodgers like Richard Rodgers. I mean, not personally, but as a football player. I think this offense is the Randy Cobb show. I think it's the James Jones show, and that's it. We've all seen it. And if you want to cash in on that offense, those are your plays. Richard Rodgers is, I don't care how much he is, he's overpriced.
And in the Randall Cobb, James Jones show, how many touchdowns did they get last week? And how many did Richard Rodgers get last week? He outscored them both. So don't be surprised to see more Richard Rodgers this week.
Be surprised. Be very surprised.
Look, I'm looking at tight ends all week. You know, Joel's more of a running back kind of guy. The back ends are just running away from him. But I like a nice tight end right in front of me.
All right, so anyway, this is enough. That's enough.
Sorry, I'm gonna stretch it.
Tangent, vamping. So I am going to go very low as well, but I am going to go with the man who's apparently come out of nowhere because he's been around in the league forever and no one's ever heard his name before. Gary Barnidge, Cleveland Browns. Yes, I hate picking anyone on the Cleveland Browns offense. But this week he is he's going against Baltimore, which is a very beatable defense. And he last week caught all 6 of his targets for 75 yards and a touchdown. That makes touchdowns in 2 straight weeks. And that makes 12 catches for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. Baltimore has shown that they're very beatable. And this tight end is quietly becoming Josh McCown's favorite target. And he's going dirt cheap for $5,400 on FanDuel, $3,800 on DraftKings. He's a 30-year-old journeyman, but you've got to strike while the iron's hot, as they say. And 2 weeks in a row, this has been the name. Why, if you want to play for Cleveland's, if you want to make a play for Cleveland's offense, this is the play you make.
Well, in an earlier segment, I picked Josh McCown as a low-end quarterback to look for, and this is his best receiver so far. But, some people are the type of people that like to play last week's heroes, like Joel.
I've heard that statement somewhere before. If only I could watch last week.
Yeah. To me, it's like, and I hope you haven't been somebody that's been screwed on Devontae Freeman 2 weeks in a row. And I hope it isn't Gary Barnidge that does it for you this week, but I just can't get on board with the Barnidge train. I'd rather, and it's just his name, Gary Barnidge. This is exciting, Come on, I need something a little more Gronky,
Gronky for $5,000 more.
But here, come on. This is the same argument I made with McCown. It's like when it comes down to it, I know what Gronk's going to get. Gronk is good. He's had at least 100 yards and a touchdown in either game. He's had a 3-touchdown game. Coming off the bye. It's like, and granted, the Owen Daniels thing to me is kind of a no-brainer as a low end. Threw Richard Rodgers in because he's been productive. But if I'm going to start going for Gary Barnidge, I've got to consider other options.
I don't know. I'm telling you because I have a lineup already set that I have Julio Jones, Keenan Allen, Julian Edelman, and to get those three guys in, I have Gary Barnidge. Gary Barnidge, again, 12 catches, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns last 2 weeks. Ride the hot hand. If you really think that Baltimore's defense is not great, like this very well could be a low-scoring affair, which I believe, but there's still going to be catches that are going to be made. If you're going to throw out Josh McCown, you know who's going to catch his passes.
Well, I'll throw this out too. The Ravens played the Steelers the week before, and a much better tight end named Heath Miller had 1 catch. So I know, granted, it's Michael Vick, but Josh McCown isn't exactly a Hall of Fame quarterback either.
But Josh McCown is a better quarterback than Michael Vick at this point in their careers.
Yeah, it's hard for me to argue against that. But I don't know. Barnidge, I don't want to be the guy that jumps on that Barnidge bandwagon too late.
It's not a Barnidge bandwagon. It's recognizing the stats and recognizing where the targets are going. And 6 for 6 last week.
What's his price again?
5,438 on DraftKings.
38 on DraftKings. So same as Delaney Walker.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. All right.
Well, come back next week and you will know who is.
This is always a segue.
Source for wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends, and then you'll be the source for let's throw 8 names against a wall.
All right. I'm sick of this fucking show. He's Joel.
He's right. I'm Joel.
And I'm Curtis. Yeah, nice try. Join us next week when Joel picks Gary Barnidge yet again. I'll have Owen Daniels. You don't need to watch the segment next week. Just watch my quarterback segments. Joel's going to pick some terrible running backs for you. No?
No, that's fine. I will let the people judge.
Thank you. See you on the couch next time.
See you then.